Oh boy, what a shitstorm is going on in World of Tanks. 99% of 99.9% of players who play this game will just be completely oblivious to the stuff that's going on in the background. And probably rightly so, because some people just get far too worked up about this. It is just a bloody game after all. But the this Chrysler K Grand Finals premium tank, which hit the US server last night, has created some shit or what. There is community contributors being fired, threatened with legal action, apparently. Um, People complaining, others doing videos about actually it's not very good. It's just absolute beauty of a screw up, of an f up. It's just brilliant. Let's just take a look into some of the forums. So they're not that I'm a conspiracy theorist or anything like that, but when you go onto the World of Tanks um, forum, there's this is the North American forum. There's virtually nothing about the Chrysler K. Interesting. Funny enough, there was quite a bit about it yesterday. It's all disappeared. Probably just coincidence. You go to Reddit though. Look at all this stuff. Oh Jesus! It's a joke, and so is wargaming. Mislabeled it. They call it the rip-off tank. Uh, Basically talking about loads and loads of stories here about how this tank is just shows more clearly than anything else that wargaming are money grabbing bastards. Um, the reasoning going, and what people are getting very excited about, is the fact that because of that frontal armour that it has, when it's angled correctly, there is no way any tank can pen it frontally. So the reasoning goes, apart from using gold. Now I've got no way of justifying that because I haven't seen it. However, I've seen a couple of videos where people have talked about being penned under the lower plate with ease. I think it was Aging Jedi did one yesterday, and he was talking about his engine kept, or was it D's games? I forget, but his engine kept getting knocked out because he was getting hit under the lower plate. So there's something a bit weird here. It's true there are no frontal weak spots. If apart from the lower plate, if that is, there is no machine gun ports to aim at. There's the cupolas are not particularly visible and not particularly pennable. So you've got to get around the flank of it. It's also very wide. It's very mobile, heavy tank. So you can deal with that. You can deal with people coming around you quite easily. I posted a video yesterday of one of the first ace tankers I've seen in it from the North American server. A lady playing it. I assume it was a lady. She's called Pamela. Playing it and being circled by light tanks, and actually she was spinning around like a good one. That sounds rude. Anyway, but able to deal with these light tanks, and so it isn't that easy to get around this thing. The other thing, the reasoning people get very excited about is that it has this 105mm gun, which is the same as is on the T32, and the penetration at 198. The reasoning goes is just too lackluster, and you need to fire gold. So the reasoning is that everyone's getting excited about the Chrysler is that it's another attempt by Wargaming to get you to use gold and fire gold, because the reasoning is you can only take out this Chrysler frontally with gold, and you can only use its gun if you fire gold. Now, I cry bullshit on that. And again, I'm clarifying this. I'm a bog standard average player. I recognise not the best in the game, and I haven't been able to play the thing yet. But I played the T32. In fact, I just rebought it because I really like that tank, and the T32 has an awesome gun. Everyone moans about it being, not very good, but the aiming on it is fantastic, and this Chrysler has an even better aim time than the T32. So yeah, the pen's not fantastic, and yes, you'll have to fire gold from time to time when you're up against tier 10 tanks, which you will be in the Chrysler. But come on, guys. This is the whole problem with what's gone wrong with with World of Tanks, in my opinion, is this automatic feeling that you should be able to pen every tank frontally somehow. No, you shouldn't. Frankly, some tanks should be immune to being shot at in the front, in my book. However, you need to be able to use the train, you need to be able to use your mobility and get around the flank. Now, that does put some tanks at a huge disadvantage. Some of the slow moving thing I get very excited about is something like the KV5, which is a fabulous tier 8 heavy tank. That thing just has no speed at all, and so if it comes up against something like a Chrysler or a Object 253 or whatever it is, any of the others, Patriots, it can't flank. It just can't, and therefore it's got very little chance. But all it can try and do is ram, and against a Chrysler's 60 tons, so good luck ramming it. So, you know, it's I don't know, it's just the way the game is at the moment, and the game is seriously on a knife edge, if you ask me. At the moment, we are heading into a period where I talked about this in an earlier video. The tech tree is irrelevant. I'm playing increasingly games where 10 out of the 15 players or more are playing premium tanks. That's all they're driving. I look at my own playing habits. I rarely play any of the tech tree tanks now. It's mainly premiums, and we do seem to be heading into a world where of World of Tanks where it is all about the money. I mean, it always has been. I mean, at the end of the day, Wargaming are a company that needs to make money, and I have no problem with that. Absolutely no problem with that. However, they had the balance right. They encouraged people to spend money. It gave them a little bit of extra stuff. You got a bit of kudos playing with premium tanks, but they weren't OP. These new premiums that they brought out, the Scorpion G, the Patriot, the Liberté, the Defender series, now this Chrysler, are just so much better than a standard tank on the tech tree. And yes, I think they've got to get their act together. They've got to sort it out. It's just getting too OTT. However, I do think also the community is going a bit crazy about this. Apparently, this is one of the posts I saw today, that apparently Wargaming have revoked the community status of Circon and Sir Foch. And certainly I saw Sir Foch's video. Where is it here? This was it. Yesterday, and he went on an absolute rant. But he does that all the time, so no surprise there. But it appears, according to his latest video, that Wargaming threatened him with basically a copyright strike on not just the video but on his entire channel, to take down everything, which is basically, I presume, his business. It's how he makes money. They also took away his community status, so he says. And certainly, if you go on the Wargaming EU site, he's not listed anymore as a contributor. Circon still is, but Sir Foch is not. So I think I'm more angry with Wargaming around this censorship attempt. It appears that all negative comments have come down off their forums, probably just magically. Can't believe they actually took them down themselves, as if they'd do that. It appears they've threatened at least one of their contributors to take down a video that was critical of them, and they've taken away community contributor status for at least one of these contributors. Now, you know, personally, I fought a game against Sir Foch once, quite a while ago now, and him and a platoon of top tier 10s. He was driving a Death Star, I believe. I was in my platoon with my buddies was in tier 8. I was in the Scorpion. No, it can't have been the Scorpion G. I think I was in it was something like the Borsig or something like that. Something really lightweight, TD. I got one-shotted within 2 seconds or 2 minutes of the game starting by Sir Foch firing a premium round at me. and all my teammates were also taken down by Safosh's platoon, all fine premium. So, it's kind of a degree of double standards going on here. They moan like bitches about tanks that require you to fire premium and how it's changing the game, but then they're not afraid to use it themselves. There's too much gold firing in the game. That I have no doubt at all. I've long said, it needs to. They need to do something to limit the amount of gold shells that tanks can carry. 10%, 20%, whatever it is of your total ammo carry would be perfectly fine, because there are so many people now running a premium tank and just loading it with gold and just constantly firing skill rounds, premium rounds, the entire game, because they know that with the matchmaking and the premium status of these vehicles, that the chances are they're going to still make money, because they're going to do a lot of damage, because these premium shells obviously get more pen, do more damage, blah de blah de blah. Now, as I say, I have no problem with premium. I use it, but it's this concept in the game that you have a God-given right to pen every tank, no matter what the situation is. It's this concept that you have that there should be unlimited access to premium rounds, and that now tech tree doesn't really matter. Safosh commented that the tech tree is almost like a training ground for premiums, and to a degree I see that. It's why increasingly I start to play mid to low tier tanks. I can't be bothered to play the higher ones. In the evening sometimes you get in a tier 8 and it's just depressing how much gold is flying around. So Wargaming needs to get their act together. Now, what's really interesting to me... Oh, come the police. There must be Wargaming coming to speak to me. What's very, very interesting to me is if I go onto the EU site now, it's noticeable how there is no talk about the Chrysler. Go into the shop. Got a lovely advert here at the top for Grand Finals. They got the Patriot on sale again, but no sign of the Chrysler. So I'm wondering whether Wargaming HQ are actually thinking about this seriously, what they're going to do, because I would have expected, and certainly all the community contributors got hold of the Chrysler and did videos yesterday or what have you, which you'd expect normally just before it hits the shops on the EU server. There's no sign of it. Now maybe it'll come tomorrow, who knows, but I'm quite surprised that the Chrysler hasn't seen the light of day yet on the EU server. Okay, so it's available on the Russian server, so it's just the EU at the moment. Wonder whether that's just they haven't launched it yet, or they just are worrying about the shitstorm that's going to come if they do. Interesting. But, I think there is some worrying developments going on here in World of Tanks. I'd love to know what you think down below. It's a definite crossroads here, the game, I think. Clearly the meta has changed entirely. We're no longer in the process of a truly free to play game. If you want to get on in this game, you're going to have to spend some money. Now, I personally don't have a problem with that. I do think it's gone too far, and I think it's a balancing act myself. I would like them to look again at their policy and see how they can make it so that, yes, there's a benefit to spending some money on the game, but it doesn't become disproportionate in that the only people who can do well in the game are those who spend money, because then it just becomes a wallet fight, right? Who's got the biggest wad? Who's going to spend the most money? And for me, that is no longer a fun thing anymore, and I play this game for fun. I don't mind spending a bit of money on a game that I enjoy. I spend a lot of hours doing the game. I spend a lot of time meeting people online as a result of this game. And I would probably spend the same kind of money going outside and going to the pub, or probably a lot more actually, or going out and what have you, which I don't do that much because of I've got kids and that makes it awkward. So yeah, I have no problem with spending a bit of money, but this balance has gone way. The meter has gone completely the opposite way, and it's bouncing around at the bottom. And I think the worrying thing is this game that we love and love to hate could be on the threshold of dying because of wargaming's greed, and they need to get a grip with it. They need to get a grip with it. And as for censoring contributors because they don't like what they're saying, that in my book is completely wrong, and I absolutely deplore if that is genuinely the case, deplore what they are doing. Now clearly this video that Safosh put up has gone. It's been taken down. He says in this video it's because Wargaming threatened him with copyright strikes if he didn't, and removed his community status. So that's all we can go on. But I'd love to know what you think. It's food for thought, isn't it? I mean, this Chrysler, it looks like a brute, looks like a real brute, but is it another example of pay to win? Is it any worse than the Patriot, than the Liberté, than the Scorpion G? All these tanks are super good, super good, but it's creating a shitstorm, that is for sure. And Wargaming needs to grip with it. They talked about last year about listening to the players. Yeah, look at this. Looks like Wargaming is going full pay to win. Hey ho. Anyway, let me know what you think. I'd love to know. Again, comments, thoughts. Being a prat Don, talking rubbish, I don't care. Just let me know. I'd love to hear what you think about it. To me, this tank is no worse, no better than any of the others. I think there is certainly a worrying trend in wargaming at the moment, that is leading down the road of full play to win, which I do not like the concept of. That's what I feel. Anyway, thanks for watching. Give it a like, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so, and most importantly, let me know what you think. In the meantime, enjoy your games, have fun. It is just a game. We're getting very hot under the collar. It is just a load of pixels moving around the computer. That's it. Enjoy it, play it, enjoy it for what it is, and if you don't enjoy it, go and do something else instead. This is Gamer Dom, signing out.